Marianne, what is in your memo?
Elon Musk, our unelected, unvetted, wannabe dictator, is now pointing his chainsaw at Social Security, a cherished American institution that provides benefits each month for nearly 63 million retired or disabled Americans. And no, not one of the lies the president told us in his speech about Social Security paying dead people is true. Such stories have been thoroughly debunked. So why is Musk doing this? Because he wants to. Because he has a visceral distaste for anything that hints at government helping people, except him, of course. Let's listen to what he told Larry Kudlow on Fox Business News Monday.
The waste and import in entitlement spending, which is which is most of the federal spending is entitlements. That's like the big one to eliminate, because that's the sort of $500 billion, maybe $700 billion a year.
Not to even mention the fact that Social Security payments were earned by people. The average senior on Social Security makes about $65 a day, while Musk's government contracts bring him in somewhere around $8 million a day. Taking aim at Social Security is nothing short of cruel to the millions of Americans who paid into that system. Yet this is what Elon recently told Joe Rogan. Let's watch.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, well, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue.
Ponzi scheme, indeed. Since 2008, Musk himself has received $38 billion in government contracts. And he made sure that another 220 million of his forced followers saw his diatribe on Twitter. That's what they do. They talk, they smear, and then they act. Just to remind you, this so-called Ponzi Scheme Act was signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1935. Our 32nd president called it a social insurance plan, paid for by employers and employees, that would safeguard America's elderly against what he called the hazards and vicissitudes of life. Since its inception, 454 million Social Security numbers have been issued over the years. Today, Social Security keeps 2/3 of America's elderly, disadvantaged, and disabled population out of poverty, able to eat, pay their bills, and live lives with a minimum of dignity as they age. And all smears to the contrary, the system works. Social Security has not missed a payday in over 80 years. But being the world's richest man, Musk presumably can't imagine worrying about how he'll support himself in his old age. He's not old enough to have even a hint of what it means when your body begins to break down or your usefulness to the economy diminishes. Musk's giddy rampage through government agencies, from those that protect our parklands, our consumers, our waterways, our medical research, our air safety, our hungry, even our nation's money, displays an almost sadistic callousness towards the everyday lived experiences of other human beings. Musk has even reposted a meme calling Americans who use federal programs the parasite class. Musk at this point is a danger, not only to the effective functioning of our government, but to the spiritual fabric of a country in which our care for one another is the ultimate glue that holds this society together. Why is he doing all this? Well, many suspect that he and the rest of his techno-billionaire authoritarian boy gang essentially want to destroy the functioning of our government so they can privatize, privatize, privatize. Their plan isn't efficient for anyone, except possibly themselves. It will be so much easier to take the whole thing over once it doesn't work anymore anyway. All this is akin to a hostile takeover in business, a morally monstrous technique where a larger company takes over a smaller one and sells off its distressed parts. Musk isn't just cutting out the fat. He's cutting out the bone. To make his case for cuts, Musk has even gone as far as spreading a lie that 20 million people who are dead are on the Social Security payroll. But if he continues to wave his chainsaw at Social Security, it will be cutting into the bone of this nation. It's a billionaire-sponsored coup against the American government and the destruction of our most treasured democratic ideals.
Well,
I can't imagine you agree with any of that.
No, I don't. Look, here's my problem with Social Security, and I think that, I am sympathetic to the plight of poor elderly people, and I would not totally eliminate government or the welfare state. I think Social Security would work best if it was simply a fund to take care of the very poor elderly people. That does not describe all or most elderly people who have more wealth on average than the young people paying into it now. That's the problem. Younger people are forced to pay into it. There's not going to be enough money because people now live longer. More is coming out of the system than is going into it. So you'd have to require people to pay even more into it, and they have no say in the matter. I would rather, and a lot of young people I know would rather say, no thanks, I will save money for retirement in some other way. I don't want to pay into this program. There's no choice in the matter. It is illegal to do that. Is it illegal to say, I would rather not have part of my paycheck confiscated for this program that is paying out to people with more wealth than I have, that I'm not going to see a dime of 50 years from now because there won't be enough money in it? I would, no thank you. Thanks, but no thanks. If people want to pay into this program and have the government save their money for retirement, they can do that. I don't know why they would choose to do it government way instead of just with a bank, but they can't. That would be fine, but it's not voluntary.
Well,
isn't the freedom, isn't that like core to our DNA that you should have the freedom to choose whether to participate in this confiscatory government program?
Well, you would probably say that about all taxes. But I do remind you that this is money that people earn. This is money that people themselves paid in. And I also want to say to you, this is anecdotal, but it's an anecdotal based on my own life. When I was your age, I sort of couldn't imagine a time when I couldn't produce monetarily and otherwise in a way that would take care of myself in my old age. It's almost like when you're young, you almost can't imagine not being young anymore. So with due respect, I submit to you that perhaps this idea that you've repeated several times, the money won't be there, the money won't be there. There are ways to make sure that the money absolutely will be there.
Oh, by taking more money from young people now.
Taking more money. No, because those young people now are theoretically not even, for the most part, making the kind of money where if you raise the caps, that money would then be given. By the way, I, as someone who has earned the money that would be that cap would apply, raising the cap would apply to me.
Yeah.
I believe that it is part of the government's function to not only protect individual economic liberty and every other kind of liberty, but to show concern for the common good. And so I believe
I don't want to pay more into it, Marianne.
you're
the
not
part
into
of
the
my
common
when you
good.
hit the
You're not into the
limit
common
where
good.
they stop
We know
taking it
you.
out of your paycheck, I
What'd
go,
you
oh
say?
God, finally. You're saying you want more of my paycheck every year to go to the look. I would just rather not participate in it, and I don't.
I
have
know
that
you
freedom.
wouldn't.
I don't have that freedom. The government is
But let me tell you
force.
something. You wouldn't, but I'll tell you something. If Elon Musk starts going after Social Security, which clearly he plans to, there will be political repercussions.
Well, I no disagreement
They're going
there.
after Medicare. They're going
I
after
fully
Social
concede
Security.
that going after it is unpopular.
Yeah, and he said
it's
on
hard,
there,
necessary, but
that the
unpopular.
entitlements are the problem because he wants all that money to be sucked up to his rich billionaire friends who will get those tax cuts. You just have no problem with that. You have no problem with just giving the money, giving
I want
everything.
people to keep more
people
of
who
their
already
own
have
money.
So much.
So I want them to pay less in taxes. But in terms of if your problem is with him getting money from the government because of contracts, that's fine. How about that be our agreement? We'll get rid of this Social Security Ponzi scheme and no more government contracts for wealthy billionaires. No more. That's the trade. Can we make that trade?
Everybody on their own, everybody.
Sounds
Forget
fine to me.
any kind of social compact. Forget government of the people, by the people, and
social
for the
compact
people.
is at the
Who
point of a
knows
gun.
that?
It's
Who
force.
knows that? You're young, you're beautiful, you're talented, and you're privileged, and you're white. So, of course, it's easy for you to say all of this. We're going to take care of the country, and we're going to take the moral mission of this country is to make sure that as many people as possible
You and I are
given
both
the opportunity to
fortunate,
thrive.
privileged people. We've been successful in our careers. You've been very successful. Both of us have economic wealth and are not. We are, to be clear, we are both well-off people who have been successful. So we're giving our views not based on our own personal economic needs, certainly.
Well,
right?
you are.
Well,
You are. I'm not. I believe that
neither
much is given.
neither of
much
us
is
are going to
expected.
starve either way. I'm just saying
What?
neither you or I are going to starve either way is just what I'm acknowledging as you're bringing privilege into
I
this. We
realize
both
how
are
lucky I
privileged
have
people.
been.
I do as well. That's
I
all I'm
realize
saying.
how lucky I've been. That's really what the issue is, and I think you're lucky too. And I think we
I am.
need to think about what our moral responsibility is based on that.
Coming up, Trump's awkward balancing act between Putin and Zelensky. We will discuss.